And you're live, George.
Cool. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Hope we're all doing well on this happy Monday. As Arsenal fans, I think we're all quite happy. All for one, really. I'd hate to be a Tottenham fan, but yeah. We're going to chat about the FA Cup yesterday. Both Arsenal teams winning a game on the same day. Never heard of it. Don't happen normally. But I suppose that's the gift of Bristol City and Tottenham. We'll go through that. We'll go through who we get in the FA Cup draw, and I want to have a chat, obviously, with my guests and you guys in the chat about why it was very, very hard to watch the game if you wasn't there yesterday, unless you had TikTok or Twitter. So yeah, we'll get into that. I'm going to introduce you to my guests first. So Paul, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Yeah, just about recovered from the North Bank yesterday.
Yeah, you had to do my job, Paul, didn't you? That.
Yeah.
You had to help Dorian out. But yeah, so it sounded like the atmosphere sounded quite good actually from the highlights I saw. So yeah, it sounded like it was a good one. Kev, how are you, mate?
Hey, all good.
Yeah, cool.
Not the top. He's a spud.
Shame, isn't it? You got like I don't know what Tottenham fans are a bit worried about. I'm digressing a little bit, just a little bit. I don't know what they're worried about because obviously they can get Pochettino in the summer. They can win the championship. Like playing teams like Wrexham and Millwall and all that. It won't be easy, but we'll see what happens. Ravi, how are you, mate?
Yeah, all good, all good. Very happy off the double win at the weekend, and you know, it's the best way to go into a week. You know, like my mood's going to be up on a high. Shame I couldn't see this game, but you know, I'll take I'll take a victory over Tottenham any day of the week.
It's quite funny that the men and the women's game went kind of opposite because Arsenal fans couldn't see the game in the women's game and Tottenham fans didn't want to see the game that they saw on Sunday. So, but yeah, less said about that. And more said about the Arsenal women. We should have Chantel joining us as well. But I don't think she's here yet. So, Paul, have we got any comments before we start?
A few people saying hello. So we've got Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Evening, Chris. Dorian.
Hey, Dorian.
Haj, and Catherine.
Nice seeing you, mate. Hey, Catherine.
All here, and Streamcast.
All right. Hey, Streamcast.
I remember good friend of mine.
Oh, okay, cool. I remember the Dreamcast. I don't remember the Streamcast. Maybe I'm showing my age there. Dreamcast. I think we used to have, I'm sure, didn't when Arsenal had Dreamcast on their tops, didn't they?
We did, yeah. We did.
Yeah.
And,
I'm
trying to remember what year that was.
He does hope that Spurs get relegated. So we'll just get that one out there.
I do, mate. I do. Like that big, massive stadium in the Championship.
Ooh.
But yeah.
Super. Hey.
So obviously, what we'll do, we have got the FA Cup draw that's supposedly live now. So
Super Jenny BT.
So yeah, if Jen, come on, Jen, do us a nice draw, please. So obviously we'll talk about that. So there could be a time when we're talking about the game and we have to stop that to talk about the FA Cup draw. So, but then we'll come back to it. But yeah, I'm going to start with you, Paul, because out of half of the people here, you were one of them that was there who could watch it. Going into when you saw the lineup, was that kind of the lineup you expected?
I really didn't know what she was going to do this week. I mean, we're going into an international break now, so we've got a few weeks without the games. So there wasn't any need really to rest players. Having said that, I'd have liked to have probably seen that Leah and Lotta at the back partnership used, and so it's grown ready for when Steph's off at the Asian Cup. But
Yeah.
other than that, it was a strong lineup. There was the intent to go out and win the game. But first half was not the best. I don't think we've seen them play a lot better than they did in the first half. But once we got those other couple of goals, it was sort of job done.
Cool. All right. So the first game is Liverpool away at. I didn't hear the
Charlton.
first.
Charlton.
And that's really not. That's
Yeah,
not
he's
what I
Arsenal
wanted.
2 seconds. Arsenal's at
All right. So
Arsenal's at home. We got Brighton.
Oh, got away with
Fair.
that. Got away with that.
Is that going to be postponed again?
Chelsea have obviously got London City Lionesses or Spurs.
Who's Man City got?
Whoever's left.
Birmingham away. They've got Birmingham away.
I tell you, that's why we get Kev on the show for that tactical breakdown. Hey
There you go.
Chantal, hope you're all right.
I'm away back off again.
Cool. No, thank you, Laura. Also, Chantel's here now as well. Right. So we've got Arsenal, got Brighton. So that continues our quite a good chance to get to Wembley still. All these days out of Wembley as an Arsenal fan, gonna be tired, mate. Gonna be tired. But we'll quickly go round. Ravi, come to you. Are you happy with that draw?
Yeah, I mean, like obviously, I would have by preference, you'd assume like the WSL2 teams are going to be the easier options.
Yeah.
Charlton would have been fun because like I do live like 15 minutes away from the Valley if it was going to be in the Valley.
Not selfish at all. Ravi,
Not selfish at all.
That.
But like, but that would have been my preference. Otherwise, like it gives us a decent chance to get into the next round. We don't necessarily have to play a fully 100% strong team, but we should be getting past this with relative ease, I reckon.
Yeah, and so we should be. I see Kev going. Obviously, playing Brighton. It's like Ravi said, we should be able to get through that game. So obviously that puts us into the semi-finals. That's when you probably start seeing the top teams facing each other, won't it? Really, because obviously Chelsea and Man City have avoided each other,
Which is a shame.
Yeah,
But unlike Ravi, I wouldn't have fancied playing Charlton.
Yeah.
Because they look as though they're coming straight up.
Yeah, they're looking quite good.
I've never been to the Valley, so
it's a nice little stadium, actually.
Yeah,
my first ever Arsenal women's game I saw. I think it was either the Valley or the New Den. I can't remember which came first. FA Cup finals, 1999, I think it was.
Yeah, nice. Hey Ryan, hope you're all right, mate. Man City getting the easier draws per. Yeah. Would it be funny if Birmingham done them though, wouldn't it? But yeah, have we got Chantel here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Chantel, was you at the game yesterday?
I was.
Okay, cool. What was your thoughts going into the lineup?
Yeah, to be honest, I was a little bit shocked that we kind of had our standard starting 11. Like Paul said, I wanted to see a bit of a change up, maybe having Smeela starting and Leah and Lotta starting. Obviously, we know Steph and Caitlin are going away in March. And they'll be back, because I think the final is March the 7th, isn't it? Before it all finishes with the She Believes Cup. But it was just, I just thought it was a time to try new things. Maybe rest Mario, because she, on Wednesday against Louvain in training, it looked like she had niggled her ankle, but continued to play majority of the game. So I think it was only against Bristol, who weren't that threatening at time. So I feel like we could have rested some players that are obviously going to have big international breaks or international. She believes in that lot.
Yeah, I think the thing with like obviously with like Leah and players playing like that, I think we still need to get she needs to get some more game time as well. I would have probably rested Mario to be fair, but don't think we've got many options at the minute, and
No,
that's a bit
not at the moment.
like Palova. I thought they could have started maybe her instead of Mariona. Ravi, I'm not coming to you because I know you didn't see the game.
Yeah.
So I'm not leaving you out. So don't think I'll be
No,
coming to you
it's all
about
good.
the
I'm literally
next point.
just looking at like match stats and like
Okay.
trying to get like up to date with like what happened,
Yeah,
starting teams
fair.
and everything, substitutions. So
No, that's cool. Kev, obviously, Kimmy Little got another goal back to back now. Does how do you think she played? Obviously, we know that she plays quite well, near enough every game. She's the glue that holds our midfield together. But how do you think her game was yesterday?
Standard Kimmy Little performance.
Yeah,
Loads of heart, loads of run, and never stops. And it was purely that got her a goal. She had her blinkers on for that one.
Yeah.
But Kimmy's Kimmy. That's you're never going to replace her.
no. I think she's like one of those legendary players that people say, "Oh, you're going to bring in to replace her." Like if you're looking at the men's side of it, like what we had with Dennis Bergkamp, she's for me that kind of ilk that you don't replace those players, do you? You have to learn to
Get on
adapt to
with
without
them.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's good. Paul, obviously, like we had a chat last week, wasn't it, about Leah Williamson probably starting this game. How do you think she done? It was good to see her getting a good few minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good to see her get the start. The pitch looked in better shape than it did midweek, and obviously the weather conditions were a lot better. So yeah, I was not frightened to see her playing, whereas I would have been if I'd have seen her in the starting lineup midweek. But yeah, great to see her get the full 90 minutes, and yeah, now she goes into the internationals. Hopefully, comes out of those unscathed. Fingers crossed, and yeah, ready for the last run-in where we smash that small team from Fulham in the Champions League, and yeah, go on to win a few more trophies.
Yeah. Ravi, obviously, I know you didn't watch the game, but this point's more of a general point. We spoke about Chloe Kelly. Everyone's groaned in the chat now. Oh, George is off. Kind of yesterday's game was more, I thought, a good game for her to kind of get some more minutes under her belt. Actually, probably try and maybe grab a couple of assists, couple of goals. I think she might have got one assist. I might be wrong with that though, and she got one against Leuven. I know that. Where do you stand with Chloe Kelly at the minute? Because her level needs to really improve, doesn't it? Now she's getting a good, say, 2 or 3 games run.
yeah, I'd say so, but I do think, but I'm not sure sort of like if there's any sort of like lasting impacts from the injury troubles and all that she had. Like we've spoken about our winger situation plenty across the last couple of weeks, especially, and I think Caitlin Ford is the one where we kind of look at and say she's not performing to the level required, and the real question for me is, if we had a fit Chloe Kelly, would Caitlin Ford have been playing all those games? And I don't really think that she would have. I think Chloe Kelly would have started quite a few of those games. I do like the fact that she got 70 minutes under her belt here. She played, by all accounts, I think quite well. I didn't really see anything that she didn't play well in this game. But I would like to see a bit more from her. I think she's got a lot of quality about her game, and like Olivia Smith, she's got that tendency of like taking a chance from outside the box, and just maybe a poacher in the box can get a rebound. Maybe we win a corner. Maybe she even scores from it. Like we've seen winning goals, equalizers, come from Chloe Kelly with those chances. So there is more to come from her, and I think it's just getting fully fit and getting that consistency and getting more minutes in.
Yeah. So someone in the chat said is Ford our female Martinelli. No, Ford sometimes takes people on. But I was gonna have, because the comment, I saw a comment yesterday. Can't remember who it was from, but it's people were saying that Kelly seems to be struggling or be a bit cautious in taking on players one on one. Barry, do you think? Surely that's got to be down to the injury, isn't it? Like, when she's trying to get back to being fully fit, because that's what we don't seem to have. Like, our wingers don't seem to do that as much as they used to, do they?
Well, I think if it happens with multiple wingers, you've got to question: an is it an, a confidence thing, or is it a team instruction kind of thing? Like if they're told to sort of like play a bit inwards and like keep the ball moving and pass it rather than dribble with it, then that could be a symptom of sort of like the system more than anything else. I do think she's incredibly quick, and she, like we've seen her go past so many fullbacks and whip balls in left, right, and center. I just think maybe it's a system thing that they've been told don't run at defenders as much. Maybe pass the ball and like pick a safer option instead of like trying to go around your like pass the defender or anything like that. But yeah, I think she's talented. I think she can do that. And
Yeah.
same with our other wingers, but it's just getting the consistency.
I think the frustration is that Chantel, is that we've seen this with Chloe Kelly, haven't we? We've seen her be able to take players on, score some important goals. So do you think it's just down to fitness and we just need to be a little bit more patient?
Yeah, it's a hard one. Obviously, when she first came to us, she had the whole mental load of like what happened with City and that, and then she seemed to have like grown in, and we saw a bit of the old Kelly come back, and then she picked up that injury and she's slowly coming back. So maybe it's a bit of hesitation. Where is she not fully trusting her own body to be able to do the things that she could do? But also, like Barry said, I think it is a bit of our formation, because you'll see like Fox and McCabe come up as more of a winger position where they overlap with Kelly and Ford, and then it seems to be they pass it on to then cross it in, or it just gets passed around the box. And I think by the time we've got the ball up to these areas, the likes of Russo and Frida are so deep that by the time we get up there, there's no one to cross the ball into. Because my statement I made yesterday was, when we warm up and the girls have their shots and then they do the 1-2 and cross it in, they are like crossing it in, tapping it in, people are there. Yet when it comes to the game, they don't do that. They seem to just run it all the way down, and then they pass it back, and they pass it back to the defender in the halfway line, and then they rework it. And I get you're not forcing the ball into the box, but if you're running down the wing, like we've seen Smeela do it, she runs down the wing, she either cuts back and crosses it in, or she takes on that defender, wins a corner, or just is aggressive with crossing the ball in. And I feel like lately our wingers haven't been that aggressive in crossing the balls in, and I think that's what they need to do.
Yeah. Also, evening BX Gunner, I hope you're doing all right, mate. Yeah, I agree about Olivia Smith. She's been brilliant. I'm glad she's ours as well, to be fair. I also like her new protocol of getting this thing called international break concussion. It's a good it's a good one. if you can tell a few of the other top players to do that, it'd be advised. But if people don't know, obviously she's had her hospital checked and she's absolutely fine. So, but hopefully she still don't go away for the national break. Also, like obviously change it up a little bit, Paul. We'll talk about her because she played yesterday, and you know that we all know she's your favourite, Caitlin Ford. I heard she had a shot. I heard a bit of a rumour. I don't know
Yeah,
if that
she
was
did.
true, but
Yeah, it was in the warm up, but she did have a shot.
Okay, cool. Right, that's progress. What I'll try not to be too harsh. Obviously now she's going to be going off to the Asia Cup. Kind of, what was your thought on her yesterday? Can you see like a slight bit of an improvement, or do you just think that? Yeah, because it's a massive drop off, isn't it? If we're being honest, like for what Ford was doing to what she does now is a massive drop off.
I think out of all the players in our current squad, where there has been drop off from some of them and then they've picked back up, hers has dropped off and it's carried on going. I just can't see any way back for her at the moment, unless in the next sort of 3 or 4 weeks while she's back on the international scene, that she has a sort of a reset and finds that form that she was in last season.
Yeah.
And hopefully comes back, a different player, or as good as before. But there was just, I mean, she was there yesterday. She was making a few runs and she was getting into the box a few times, but it just didn't fill me with confidence.
What do you think that's down to, Paul? Though, like, do you think? Oh, like, let's be honest. We know she's had some injuries in that time, and probably, obviously, the way Meadows been playing and Smith, let's not get that twisted, our two best wingers. But so, do you think it's just a loss of confidence, or do you think there's more to it? Like maybe she's been told that her contract's not going to be renewed. It could be a number of things, I guess. But what, as a fan, what do you think? What do you think she's not doing? What she was doing? That's a probably obvious question, but
I mean, there's so many different things. Whether it's just the injuries she's had and she's not confident to carry on the way she was, because she might pick up a similar one. Whether she knows she's going at the end of the season and she's really, she may have even signed a pre-contract somewhere else, so she's not even sort of showing off her skills trying to get a new contract if she's already done a deal. So there's loads of different things, or it could be a little bit of all of them.
Yeah,
it's just such a shame because we know how good a player she can be.
Yeah, no, if she's not someone obviously I would keep now, but or before, but I think it was a question before, like when you had that many options on the wing, it was a nice option to have. So hopefully she'll come back a different player after the Asia Cup, and then she can just still offer us some stuff going forward for the rest of the season. Kev, obviously I'm going to come to you. We'll talk about obviously Russo and that. Obviously she played again. I know she missed a penalty, but at least we tried something different. Russo taking a penalty. But how do you think she done? Obviously ignoring the penalty miss. Do you think do you think it was a game that she really needed to play?
No, she didn't need to play in that one. Yeah, but yeah, she worked as hard as ever. The penalty, it was a good save, but yeah, she could have put it a bit more in the corner and maybe lower, rather than a perfect height for the keeper. Yeah, it was a workmanlike performance, as with the whole team. Really, it was a professional performance. Did enough, without doing too much.
Yeah, we didn't need to overexert, really, did we? To be honest.
No.
Right. We won the game 3-0. That I think it's probably been decided that the third goal was an own goal, even though I think Frieda's done as much to try and claim that was their goal. Ravi, just on Frida generally,
Yep.
obviously she's in the last couple of games she's been involved in goal involvements and stuff. We're looking at a busy summer. I think we all know that. Do you see a place for Frida still in that squad? Because I don't see her as a first 11.
I see that she is very valued by Renee and the coaching staff. I think they really like her. Hence why she plays so many matches in that number 10 role. Although you speak to a number of people and they all say the same thing, like she crowds out, she gets crowded out of the game far too often, especially against deeper blocks. And I don't think she's particularly effective at unlocking deep blocks in that sort of like number 10 role. You need someone with a bit more sort of passing precision and a bit more guile on the ball.
Yeah.
However, there is a place for her in the team. We can go a bit more direct, and like a player like Rusa up front who can do a little bit of everything very, very well, does have a tendency to drop deep, and that offers up so much spacing behind for wingers and an attack-minded number 10, which is what we've got in Frida anyway. So there is a spot for her, but I don't necessarily think that should be the first option on the team sheet. I think that should be a sort of like, oh, we're pushing for a goal. Let's like put her on for the last like 30, 35 minutes, really push forward, like a little bit more of an attacking substitution, and work around it that way. I do see value, but I think the club value her a lot higher than a lot of fans do.
Yeah. I think she could be quite effective in games. You know, like when you're sort of playing maybe in the early rounds of a cup or even like the lower teams, say like you play against teams like Leicester or they don't play football, they just go there for a draw. It sounds like Man United actually, doesn't it? But no, like that sort of different option. I don't think she gets anywhere. I think, and we're not saying that she gets anywhere near that first 11, but like if Arsenal had all their best players, but I think she could still maybe offer an option. And to be fair, her contract's still there for a while, so it might, you never know. Arsenal might actually do something weird and sell a player for money, which we don't do often. Cool. Finishing on the game now. Obviously, we'll talk about the elephant in the room. Obviously, the broadcasting issues. I'll start with you, actually, Ravi. My opinion on it is I think it's disgusting. Like, I don't think it really helps the growth of football, and especially in the women's game. For me, I don't understand. I understand that people don't want to put on all the games, fine. But from an Arsenal point of view, why could they not put the game on the app? I don't understand. I think you should, but whatever team you support, if you're playing in the WSL and you're towards the top, you should be able to listen to a team play, not have to, let's just call it out for what it is, not have to try and find TikToks of people streaming it.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this stage of a competition, like let's compare like for like the quarterfinals, what the later rounds of the FA Cup anyway. I think they're always going to be shown on the men's side, like almost every single one of the games at this sort of like last 16 stage. So I think there was an opportunity for someone like BBC, ITV, Channel 4, whoever it is, to turn around and say, let's put it on terrestrial TV. Let's put it on like red button match choice. Like sometimes, like if they didn't have the resources to offer commentary on all the games, fine. Have one or two that you are offering commentary on. Maybe the big ones, say like Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, those kind of teams. Like, two of them were already selected for TV. They can do whatever they want. The other 6 games, like it's very easy for any of these multi-billion-pound TV networks to actually pick this up and just for almost a small fee, just like show it, put it on like red button choice, like so many people do with like the Olympics and other like international tournaments or anything like that, and just show the game to someone who wants to watch it.
I just
There
think,
was
like, if you look at the men's Ravi quickly, like,
Yeah.
when you look at the third or the fourth round, I remember one year, and it might have been this year or the year before, they had all the shot on, like on BBC or ITV, like, and that's no disrespect to teams like Aldershot or in the lower divisions, but sure, I just don't understand how in the women's game you can only have two games on being able to be watched, and let's be honest, they weren't really that accessible to watch either, unless you have. Was it Chelsea was on TNT, wasn't it?
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so. But how is that growing women's football? I just think like, and you go from before on the FA player, they had every single game.
Yeah, I mean, that's how. So when I first started to watch the Arsenal women's team and really seek out the football, my dad and I were watching it on the FA player like every other week. And it serves a purpose, but with the rise in TV networks, maybe there's some prohibiting factors in some of these agreements that says, "Oh, we're showing this game. No one else is allowed to show any of the other games." But like that doesn't, like you said, that doesn't grow the game. Like that doesn't appeal to people. Like it doesn't make it accessible. And I think there is a wider conversation that needs to be had about, and both across men's and women's football, about how people are being priced out of football time and time again, like to
Yeah.
a point where like almost nothing bar match of the day happens on terrestrial TV. Like I remember waking up watching the rerun of Match of the Day on Sunday mornings and then watching the Italian football highlights on Channel 4
Yeah,
immediately
man. Yeah, I
afterwards.
remember
Like
that. Yeah.
it was a great time. Like, and everyone would come in to school on the following Monday, and everyone would be talking about both things: Match of the Day and the Italian football. And now you get to a point where, like, as I grew older, and Sky Sports and all these networks started pricing people out of football, less and less people were talking about the game. And I'm even, working with some younger people in my office who grew up not having access to any football on TV. So, it's one of those things where it's just like games need to be shown. It's not very difficult to basically just hijack one of like the cameras and like show that on your on your channel. Like the game is going to be recorded anyway. Like
That's the
it's
thing.
just using the feed.
Yeah, and they showed obviously there was obviously people there because they'd shown the highlights today. I
Yeah.
think that's more that like I find frustrating is that they could have done that. And it's like what Dorian has said, and it's a really, really good point. Like you've got that 30 quid like bit as well for TNT. You add everything up. If you wanted to watch all the football, you're paying for Sky, you're paying for TNT, you're paying for Amazon Prime, you're paying for whatever else it's on. Like
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, that's it. Like you think that I'm not even joking. I reckon that's about nearly 200 quid just on subscriptions for football.
Yeah, pretty much.
How is
Like,
that feasible?
it's really difficult. And there is a whole thing on like piracy and people obtaining means to watch games. And like I've had it I've had a conversation with a friend of mine. Like her boyfriend lives out in America, and he gets to watch every single game. Fine, there's a time difference and whatnot, but he gets to watch every single game on like NBC Sport or whatever it is, and like it's just unbelievable that we can't in this country watch our own games. And it's not even about the Premier League games. It's even going down to the Championship, like even going down to other WSL teams and stuff like that. Like, why can't they be more accessible?
Yeah, I just don't. I don't think there's any excuse for it really. Reese, good to have you here, mate, and Detroit Cleaner, good to have you here. Reese, I'm more concerned. Why did you have to go to Aldershot? Like, that's what I want to know. Answer me that. Why? That's got to be a game. That can't be a stag do or not something. But yeah, Kev, obviously chatting about obviously the broadcasting. Also, like what Dorian said, is if these teams, if the broadcasters can't put a commentary on and stuff, they should lose that game and be able to let people on YouTube or even the fact like the teams apps like for example the Arsenal app should have been able to play that yesterday, shouldn't they?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I say, the whole idea of setting up this new company to run the WSL was to grow the game. And the deals they've struck are going in the opposite direction. So, I really don't know what they're playing at. And Tottenham are 1-0 up against London City. Dear, oh dear.
I forgot they were playing, to be honest.
But yeah, showing that one.
But this is what I mean. Like, so they can show Chelsea, Man United, which fine. I get that. I'm not gonna sit here. Like, I don't think anyone here is gonna say how I don't understand why they've shown Chelsea, Man United over Arsenal versus Bristol City. Like, we're not that deluded. But each game should be able to be. You should be able to get it somewhere. You're telling me like what time was that? 1 o'clock on a Sunday. They couldn't. I suppose they'll say it would have clashed with the men's Premier League. But you're telling me they couldn't find somewhere like a
It's a
radio
Sunday.
channel? Yeah, but they couldn't have found a radio channel just to put the game on. Or if they don't want it to clash on BBC or TalkSport, fine, or BBC London, whatever. Why wasn't you allowed to listen to it on the app? And then why were people told, oh, you're not allowed to stream that? How else? Like, I just don't get it personally. I don't understand how that helps the growth of women's football. Maybe I'm looking into it a bit too much, but how is that meant to help grow a game when you've got for the next round, what they're going to do? Just do the same thing.
No, they'll probably have all of the quarterfinals on, but they'll be spread over the weekend.
But I don't know if I trust them to do that, Kev.
One on Friday night, one on Saturday, one on Sunday, one on Monday night.
Yeah, Friday.
But I suppose their way of looking at it is, well, Arsenal don't need to be televised because how are they going to grow their fan base even any bigger than it already is?
Yeah, Paul, obviously I come to you, like maybe I'm missing something, but don't you make more money by showing all the game?
You'd have thought so, wouldn't you? I mean, the people that run the WSL and that now said at the beginning they wanted to increase the fans' engagement with the teams, and how better to engage them by actually showing the matches.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you look at the men's ones, and the next round of the men's FA Cup, every single game is on TV somewhere. Yeah. Okay, yes, some of them are on God knows how many subscriptions you need for them, but there's not a single one that is on Saturday at 3 o'clock in the blackout. They're all over the weekend. So next round of ours, 4 games. It's Easter weekend, so I can see there being one on each night. I've just checked. Boreham would have a home game on Good Friday, so that probably rules us out of that one. But we got Saturday, Sunday, Monday available to us. But yeah, that's if you need to engage the fans, you've got to make it available to them.
Yeah, once again, I don't think of the fans. I just
no, fans are minor in football.
Yeah, just look at Brighton. That's why I'm kind of glad that Owner can't call it off. But yeah, like I get what people are saying about the men's games, but you have to look at it without being like you've got to try and look at it level-headed. Yeah, that could be a reason why they say that they can't put an FA Cup game on the radio. That was my point. I'm not saying that that's right or that's wrong, but I can't see them. I couldn't have seen them putting Birmingham versus Chatham on instead of Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest. That's just realistic. So, but there's no reason that these games shouldn't be able to be played through a club's app, is there, Chantel? Like, for example, like we keep saying, the Arsenal app could have had that game on.
Oh, completely. Like we've seen it in games that haven't even been that important either. So to have it as an FA Cup game, like we all know how supportive and like I'm trying to think of the word, like passionate all the Arsenal fans are, and we show it game in, game out each week, turning up at games, and like sadly, the real life is not everyone can make games because of living situations, transport, money, work commitments. So like the club says they appreciate the fans, but what are you showing to the fans? Even if they said for the whole season it's £10, and if you subscribe to that £10, you can have access to watch the games on the app. And I think more than majority of the fans would pay that £10 if it meant that they could have access to watching every game Arsenal plays through the Arsenal app. And they're making that loads of money that way. I don't think it costs that much to pay a cameraman to sit up on the shelter, moving it side to side to whichever side the ball's on. And it's just disappointing because I think it's little situations like this that you just see the inequality between the men and the women's football. And no one's saying let the women's football be bigger and better than the men's, but give us the same treatment.
Yeah.
Like you see all these big clubs and saying like, oh, get into football, let's be healthy, let's do sports and that lot. You're not even showing a fucking game to a kid who can't get to it. And that's the generation you want to aim it at to now. And you're just not meeting the expectations of what we need to have.
Yeah, it's a good point by Dorian. You need someone to wipe the
Sorry,
lens
that was
as
a bit of
well.
a rant.
It's a bit of a talented job.
I forgot they need two people for that.
Yeah. Like, I agree with Catherine why they couldn't have put it on the website. That's been more what my point is. Ravi, kind of coming to you again. I'm in the belief that it's not really, I wouldn't say it's Arsenal that have done this. Obviously, surely this has just come from the broadcasters. But do you think as a club they could put a stance against it, or do you think it's a lot more complicated than that? Because it seems to be a lot more complicated than that. I'm not really into blaming Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, it is more complicated than that. And like I've worked in TV myself, and I've seen some of these like contracts that all these channels come out with, and like there are exclusivity agreements. There are these sorts of things where they like, say TNT wanted to show Chelsea versus United as their premier game. They've probably put in a clause in there saying, "All right, we'll pay the like for like Adobe or like whoever's running the women's FA Cup, going, oh, we'll give you 100 grand or like straight up now," and then that's you sort that's us paying for basically to show this game on its own, and just like on an exclusivity basis. But then if the other games are scheduled at different times, then there's nothing really prohibiting other networks from having the game. Like it doesn't make sense why you can't just negotiate multiple deals and just say, look, fine, if you want to pay 100 grand for this one game, fine, you do that, but then we'll put the other games on at other times and like to other people. I think what there is also an opportunity for as well is like the more games you have, the more chance you can sort of like stop giving experience to younger commentators, to newer presenters, new like all this new talent that you can get in the next like 15, 20 years. Like everyone's talking succession planning after Gary Lineker's left Match of the Day, and they've now split it across 3 competent, good hosts. But like they have to get some experience somewhere. Like in 10 years, who's going to replace them?
Be us, wouldn't it?
Well, it like honestly, like what? It'd be a dream gig for me to do that. But like, it's one of those. It is one of those things where you think about going like, if there is no pathway for, say, new commentators, new camera people, new presenters, like
Then
there
what's the
is,
point?
then what is the point of all this?
Yeah.
Like people are being priced out of the game anyway. Why are you prohibiting opportunities to basically cheat like labor in that sort of role because they just want to get experience as well?
The thing I don't understand, and it might be me just being stupid, is I don't understand how they can show the highlights today with commentary on it, but they can't show the game when it's actually on. Am I being a bit thick here?
It depends. Like what I want to know, what I would like to know is, was commentary recorded then and there, or was it done retrospectively? Like, is there some little commentator sitting there like commentating on all these games before they're put up onto the site? Yes or no? Have Arsenal set their own commentator there to do commentary on the game to show it at a later date? Yes or no? Like, if there is someone there to do these things, then surely it won't cost much more to put the game on TV. If anything, it's going to make you more money. Otherwise, it's just a cost exercise, and you're just paying for it for kind of reasons. And I just think the more people that watch the game, the more people that are going to get involved with it. Whether it's players, whether it's coaches, whether it's referees, whether it's and it's me going back onto the whole commentators presenters thing. Like, the more football that's on TV, the better it is.
Yeah, we are going to have to be careful though, because you're talking a lot of common sense there, and I don't think they're gonna. I don't think the people, the higher Bs, are actually used to that.
Get me into the FA.
Yeah, exactly right. You'll be head of FA, so like, but I completely agree, mate. I just think it's ridiculous. Like, so I listened to the highlights earlier. So obviously, if people in the chat have watched it, obviously you'll be able to tell more visually. But it did sound like the commentating was being done as the game was kind of going on. So it didn't seem like how it normally does. So obviously, people that have seen the highlights, you can correct me on that, obviously. But there was camera crews and everything there, and like Arsenal was there as itself. This is what I don't understand, is why, like you said, if that game's exclusive, then you play games at a different time, which I get. But I don't think in 2026 there should be a time when you can't listen to an FA Cup 5th round game. Like in the women's, because let's be honest, it's not. I don't think it's as big as the men's same teams, is it? I'm assuming. Like, what I mean, number wise, not. So you can understand when they don't put all the men's games on, but I just a bigger point as well, I've just thought of, is how are teams like, for example, you had Chatham Town, didn't you? Were they playing Birmingham? I think
so, yeah.
Yeah. So how are teams like that how are they meant to get any financial gain from stuff like that if they play a bigger team, if they're not even got TV rights?
And it's not even about Chatham Town as a team. Like, for example, it's even talent spotting as well. Like, if the games aren't accessible for scouts to even watch live, like, fine, they might have their other resource, like in the industry resources to watch these games. But like, surely, like, if more games are televised, these players who, like, someone from Chatham Town might have had an absolute blinder of a game, that attracts the interest of someone like a Charlton, a Brighton, like someone like that, and then like they maybe get WSL opportunities down the line. Like, it's I just don't understand the reluctance to just show something on TV, even if it's hidden behind like a red button, like activation or like whatever. Just like have the option there. Like, if these people are there to, with the cameras, with the commentary, with whatever, it's surely not any material amount of money more for these big businesses to put on this game.
I
Like,
just think
and
the
it's,
FA could have worked with whoever the broadcasters were going to be, because surely they could have,
yeah,
because obviously they got rid of the FA player, didn't they? But
yeah.
could they not have worked with a broadcaster to say, right, whatever games you're not having, we're going to play on the FA player? Surely that's going to generate more money.
I do think there's a conversation that needs to be had about when we're told that the FA want to grow the women's game, what does that mean? Does that mean that they are going to generate more money from sponsorship revenue from Barclays and the TV channels? Or does that mean that they're actually going to put resources into the game to help grow participation and help grow interest within that? Like, it's not a double-edged sword. You're not doing one to spite the other. You can do both things. And I think that's where I'm really struggling with decisions that the FA have made, in that, why are you not promoting this after two back-to-back European Championship wins for the Lionesses? Why are you not doubling down on Arsenal winning the Champions League and whatever they're calling the World Cup thing? Like, why are you not capitalizing on this? Like, it's literally handed to you on a silver platter. Like, there's so many people going to the Arsenal games. There's so many people going to Lioness games. Like, why is this not being capitalized on? Like,
You're
surely
not going
there's
to have a
someone
better platform
like
to build off.
like it doesn't make any sense. Like, as Laura just put in there, like, the FA player was a shambles, yes, but it was a way for people to watch the game. People complained about it, yeah, fine, sure, but at least they could watch the game. And even if you want to throw a little advert at the bottom of the screen, fine, get some ad revenue out of it that way. Put an advert on during halftime, fine. But like, whatever you want to do, just like, let us watch it. Just let us watch football.
Can I add to Ravi's point that, like,
Yeah, of course.
obviously, how he said, like, yeah, the FA player was a shambles, but still, we still have the same issue with our own camera of having to have it wiped because our camera's just as bad sometimes. Just like you said, make it accessible. But going back to like having like lower teams in the WSL2 go up against the likes of Arsenal, City, and that lot. Like, so I'm from Southampton, and Bournemouth obviously played Man City, and that was such a big deal for Bournemouth getting that far, playing a team of like a WSL team. So like to have that on TV, to have people in that area where they don't see as much pathways for female footballers, that is like prime opportunities there. It's when like Arsenal's going up against Bristol, like there's going to be so many Bristol girls that will be like, do you know what? That's a team that I can see myself wanting to join, to then go up against these teams in the higher league and positions. And like really, like that's like the beauty of like the FA Cup and all that lot, is that you get a mix of all these teams that don't have as much advertisement or a fan base or having their games on TV or out there. So when we have the chance to do it, why are we not promoting it? Because it then gives more rural areas to shine the light on. Like, we have women's football, we have a women's team that's going up against the UEFA champions, Arsenal's, and all that lot, which, like, really, that would be a selling point where you would gain so many more followers and make more money if that's what your aim is for.
Yes, they're all really, really good points. We could talk about this for the next 6 hours, to be honest, I reckon. And I think, like what James has said, and I hope you're right as well, James, is that obviously they could have put it on the red button or something like that. And but I think as well is that TNT don't really have that much women's football on generally anyway, do they? Do they just have the FA Cup?
They
I think
show
they
the
advertise.
Australian.
Okay,
They
They-
show
so
the
but
Australian.
Yeah,
league.
they basically
Oh.
put it on their promos and all that like they have women's football and stuff like that. But
yeah, no,
it's rare
very
that they do.
loose. So yeah, so that's another thing. But obviously we'll finish it there because we're coming up to the hour anyway, and like I said, we'll probably end up addressing this again later in the later in the season. Just want to say thank you to everyone who's got involved in this chat. It's been really, really good and quite informative. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button on all the channels, and just keep sharing. Really appreciate it. So thank you to everyone in the chat. Paul, thank you for coming on, mate, and hope to see you soon.
Yeah, I think London City I'll be at, and then I'm going to be a few games that I'm going to be missing, unfortunately.
You're doing a George. That's fine.
Yeah,
I'll be at Lionesses. So why would I not turn down 11:55 a.m. on a Sunday near Bromley?
can't beat it.
Yeah, oh, you probably could quite a few times, but
I'd rather be
Shan-
there than that toilet bowl.
well, yeah, exactly. What one? So yeah, Chantel, thanks for coming back on. It's been great. I know you ain't been on for a while, but it's good to have you back.
Yeah, sadly with coaching and that, luckily my team's made it to the cup final, so that's taken a lot of my time up at the moment. But it's good to be back, and hopefully we'll be on a lot more. And I'm just gonna say, if I ever win the lottery, I will spend all my winnings on buying the women's football just so I can stream it for everyone.
20 pound a month later. Yeah, but it's good to have you back on. Even Chris thought you was a new person, so that's how long you've not been on. But it's
I
good to have you
know.
back.
Makes me feel bad.
No, you're good. It's good to have you back. Kev, good for you to be on again as well. Just to break it to you, we have gone up subscribers while you've been on the show. So I think people are subscribing to see you. I think they're subscribing to see you, mate. Not us, it's you. Yeah. But yeah, thank you, mate. I really appreciate it.
You're the lucky one. You can't see me.
Yeah, exactly. I can hear you though, so you're fine. But yeah, hope to see you soon. I assume you're at Lionesses.
Of course I am.
I was gonna say it's only up the road for you. It's not that far, is
Yeah.
it? So, cool. Ravi, thank you again, mate. Always informative. We have to get you on because everyone says in the chat, "Call that Ravi." He talks sense. He does. So we've had to go professional this week. So we've got Rav back on.
Yeah, no worries. Always good to be on, and thanks for having me have a little rant.
Yeah. No, good. Also, like, just obviously next few weeks, me and Ravi should be back doing the FPL stuff. So, if you want to laugh how crap my team is, or I don't think Ravi's been much better. So,
I don't think I have now.
no. So, the double team will be back, telling you to drop people, then not go and score like 15 points. So that's how we roll. I got rid of 2 Arsenal players this week. Thought, you know what, I'm gonna have to jinx myself, and it worked. So I have to keep doing that. So, cool.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, mate. And then also thanks to Laura, who's been making sure the show goes ahead, like in the background. Wouldn't be able to do it without her. So thank you, Laura. And we will be back. When will we be back? Right, we'll be back later in the week, but I'm not sure what the show will be about because it's international break, but we'll find something. Everything, there's never a quiet week with Arsenal, guys, so we'll be there. But yeah, keep posted. Just follow us on all our socials. have a lovely week, and all take care. And come on, you Gunners.